Hello everybody, Demon Red Mist here, and I am on GT Sport to do a bit of a tips guide for the next DGT League race, location Sardegna. Now I'm doing this one quite early because it is a new track really, that I know many people may not have done a lot of driving on in the league. But I mean, personally, I've done a fair few laps around this track because it is quite a nice track to drive. But interestingly, I've heard a few people say that they don't like it. Now, admittedly, I'm not sure exactly which one of these tracks it is. I know it's not a long one. I bet it'd be that one. Yes. Now, whether this is the right way around or not, I do not know yet. Yeah, I know a few people have said that they don't really like this track, or they're not keen on this track, and I can kind of understand why, because there's a couple of corners where it's so easy to end up off the track, and at this place, if you go off the track, you're hitting wall. But hopefully, I'm going to be able to show some very simple tips that will make this track a hell of a lot easier. I just need to make sure I'm going to go around it the right direction here. Yes, I am. Okay, yeah, so very simple circuit, hardly any corners, but also very easy to get it wrong around here. So hopefully I am going to be able to show you some stuff that will help a lot. What I'll do is I'm going to go around slowly to begin with, just to point a few things out. As you're making your way up towards turn one, personally I'm looking only for the 100-meter marker board. That's what I aim at on my approach to turn one, and that's because I literally want to go and drive underneath it on the curb like this, because I want to get into this position on approach to the corner. By being a lot on the curb, it makes the corner a lot easier to get round. And what I will say is, anyone that is behind me, if you are not up alongside me in the braking zone here, and you'll go for the overtake, you're dive bombing. And hopefully one of the new features I'll try and show on this stream today will be hopefully a very clear example of what I mean by this. So what I would say is, when you get to the braking zone here for this corner, or any corner for that fact, if you're not already up alongside, don't go chucking it up the inside, because all you're going to do is end up going slow or pissing everybody off. So anyway, turn one, we're going to go under the 100-meter marker board and brake just after, so about where the green marshal's light is. So it's about 90 meters. I'm then going to brake pretty hard, but I'm only going to get down to third gear. But I've literally got from the braking point to about here to get down to third. Right, now there's another reason that I'm in this position on the curb, and that is because it gives me the braking point. I'm in a straight line, but also the turn-in point is the end of the curb. So once you get to the end of the curb, I'm going to hold third gear without accelerating, or very gently accelerating, and tucking the car down into the apex. By taking turn one like that, this corner becomes so easy, you should never be going off here. Okay, if you do find that you're approaching the corner too fast, you can go down to second gear to help you get into the corner, but then learn from it and slow down more. Okay, so it should be a fairly easy third gear corner, but I will confirm that on the lap. Absolutely flat out through here, minimal steering angle, use as little steering angle as possible, saves tyre life, but also gives you the fastest speed. Okay, on approach to what is effectively turn 1, 2, 3, turn 4, this is one of the corners that is going to cause most people problems. because it seems to be a very, very quick corner, and it is, but only if you take it correctly. Now, the way that I am taking this corner is once I get to the start of this curb, I have a couple of main goals. Hello folks, hello crowd, hello, yeah, cheer or you like. Just make sure that the viewers can hear me, alright, you noisy fuckers. Yeah, there's a couple of things that I want to achieve every lap going through this corner. Okay, number one is to get the car slowed down before I turn. Number two, when I turn, I need to get my left-hand wheels touching the apex curb. And three, on the exit of the corner, I do not want to be running wide. Sounds obvious, but when I put it into perspective, you can do all your braking, so you can do part one, and then part two, turn in and get the apex curb, but if you haven't slowed down enough, you will go straight off on the exit of the corner. So you haven't got all three achieved, have you? So your aim here in this corner every lap should be to achieve part 1, 2 and 3. Get the car slowed down before you have to turn. When you turn, make sure you're able to get to the apex curb. If you can't make it, you're braking too late or not enough. Okay? And once you've got to the apex curb, are you able to stay on the track? If you're not, you're going through the corner too fast, or you've turned in too soon. More than likely though, you're turning into you're going too fast and brake too late. Now, an actual braking point in this car, I will have to confirm it, but I'm pretty sure it's about 60 to 70 meters. It is only a very light usage of the brake that I need, and it should be about a 4th gear corner with a turn-in point somewhere around about the start of the gravel on the right on me and the marshal's light that is just next to me. And for this corner, it's a very gentle turn-in. It's not an aggressive turn-in, it's a gentle turn-in to kiss the apex a little late if possible. The later the better. The sooner you hit the apex curb, the more chance there is of running wide. So we just want to kiss the apex, but we now want to be in a position where we can see that exit curb beyond the gravel. Because although I've said I don't want to run wide, there is a certain line that you can take here that is fast, right? And for me, it works beautifully. And that is to exit the corner, letting off the steering, and then getting your car in this position, okay, with this curb smack bang in the middle of the car and your steering straight. If you've got your steering turned at this point, you're either going to spin left or you're going to hit the wall on the right, okay? So if you're going to take this kind of line, you've got to have your steering straight and keep it straight and just drive straight forward. Hopefully on the faster lap I'll be able to show what I'm on about. Now this section, I've seen a lot of people approaching this corner coming up on the left hand side of the track. You don't really want to do that because this is a very fast section of the track and you need to be on the right hand side here. Bear in mind, if you are on the left hand side here, you will have to slow down to get around the left hander in front of us. If you don't, you will hit wall eventually. Okay, so approach on the right hand side. Now this should be absolutely flat out through here, but it has been a few days since I've driven this car around this track, so I will check. Now if it does need a little lift off of the throttle, do it before the red part of the barrier. The sooner you do the lift, the easier it is to do the turn and the sooner you can get back on the throttle. But it should be absolutely flat out and staying flat out. Kiss the apex, ride the curb, stay flat out. Now we're going to work our way over to the left hand curb, but now we have to know what is coming after the hill, and what's coming is a nasty little hairpin until you know it's there. In this car, if you go round the next right hander flat out, you will not make the hairpin, and even if you do, it's probably going to be 1 time out of 10. Okay, you should not be going flat out through the next right-hander. What you should be doing is between this curb on the left and the curb on the right is doing a lift, and a fairly big one, lifting off so that the car can turn. Because if you don't, if you stay flat out, the car wants to run wide, and then when you get on the brakes, you're all out of shape. So you want to do a lift so that you can work your way over to the apex curb, so that on the exit of the corner, now this becomes as long a straight as physically possible in front of us. Okay, that's what we want. If you're going flat out, you're going to be all the way over to the left hand side, and you're not going to get the car slowed down. And as soon as we are on the exit of the corner in a straight line, you're going to need to get onto the brakes. Now ideally, move over to the right hand side to get around the hairpin. People will see this as an overtaking opportunity. I would say it can be, but only if you're up alongside before the exit of the right hand corner we've just gone around. Dive bombing or going for late overtakes into this corner will not be successful, because for example, if I see someone going for it against me, I'll let you have this corner. I'm just going to overtake you back down into turn one and pull away. Okay, so you'd be much better off following or making the person ahead defend the corner, make them be slow, and then you can beat them on the straight. Okay, so we're going to brake in as straight a line as possible. In perfect world, turn in at the end of the curb and let the car slow down to about mid-corner. So as the grey barrier in front of us is starting to appear, now we want to be trying to work the throttle back on. And this is probably going to be a second gear corner, but then up to third pretty quick on the exit. On the exit of the corner, come off the steering as quickly as possible, and to be honest, you should find yourself around about this kind of position on the exit of the corner. Okay, right, let's see if I can actually show all that in action. I'll tell you what I'm going to do first actually. I'm going to drive it wrong first, okay? So I'm going to brake late, and a little bit erratic, so to speak. Not easy for me to do though. So you don't want to be doing that now, do you? Now I'm not at full speed at the moment, so it might get round this corner. But look, even though I'm not at full speed, I was able to stay on the track around the right hander, but there was not enough braking time, and I wasn't fully up to speed either. Okay, so that shows there that if you don't lift before the right hander, you're not going to get slowed down anyway. Okay, I'm going to keep doing it wrong for a moment. I kind of want to show what's going to happen if you're on the left hand side on the exit of this corner. So if you're on the left up here, this becomes tight. Now we're against the wall. Now we're running wide. I'm not going to lift off. And I'm not making the corner. Okay? Do not do that, guys. Because if you go into that final corner like that, you're going to wipe out every car that's in front of you. And not only are you going to wipe out every car that's in front of you, you're going to piss them all off. Okay, let's see if we can show how to do it properly. So I'm looking for the 100-meter marker board. I'm on the curb, I'm on the brakes, turning at the end of the curb. I'm not on the throttle until I know I can be. As little amount of steering as possible. Okay, where's my braking point? just after start of the curb, clip the apex, let the car run out wide. Okay, I can go through there a little quicker. Approach from the right, clip the apex, ride the curb, clip the curb, lift. Can even do a downshift, and now look at that, beautifully slowed down for the corner. Waited to get on the power, and then I'm able to go full power. So doing that lift between the left and the right allowed me to make that corner so easy. Okay, we're looking for the 100-meter marker board, get on the curb, hit the brakes. Oh, little late. So even though I was a little late, at least I was still able to save it. Now I said that this corner I could take a little quicker, so I'm going to brake at about 75 meters. No, 50 meters. Yeah, 50 meters will be fine. Okay, so we've now got a 50-meter marker board as the braking point. Okay, so let's try that again. I mean, this car might not like braking on the curb at turn 1. Pretty much though, every other car I've driven is fine with it. So, looking for the 100-meter marker board. Okay, you may have to start braking before the 100-meter marker board in this car. Okay, go for the 50-meter marker board. Gentle brakes. Down to 4th, clip the curb, let it run wide, straighten the wheel. Now we're flat out. So even though I'm doing a lift between the left and the right, because the car's stable, I can actually give it a little bit of a throttle before I hit the brakes. But be very, very careful of doing that, guys. Okay, let's brake just before the 100 this time. Much better, much better. A lot of curb though. Turned in too soon, but it's slowed down a lot better. Okay, so 50-meter marker board. Clip curb, let it run wide, straighten the wheel. Now on this occasion I haven't done the blip of a throttle, and I've actually been able to carry more speed around the corner because I've been able to stay in 3rd gear rather than having to slow down more and actually use 2nd gear. Okay, so once again braking at the 50, but it's gentle braking, let the car slow down, miss the apex, so wait to get on the throttle. I mean, I personally find this... Oh, I'll show you something in a sec. Personally, I find this a very easy track to drive, but if you're not used to doing things like I am, where it's like, okay, that's my braking point, I stick to it. That's my turning point, I stick to it. If you're not used to doing that, you're going to have to learn to do that. It's the only way. So, just before the 100-meter marker board, end of the curb, turn in. Don't get on the power too soon. Use a little amount of steering angle as possible here. Okay, we're going to brake at the 50-meter marker board, but as I mentioned, it's only gentle. Let the car slow down. Next to the curb, straighten the wheel, flat out. And even here, I'm trying to use as little amount of steering as possible. Got on the power a little too soon. Not a bad lap. Okay, so I could tell you that now I am on the limits of the braking ability of this car for turn 1. I'm on the braking ability for the next corner. If I try and brake a little later, a little harder, let's see what happens. Okay, I've got around the corner, but I'm wider. I was not in control. I wasn't as balanced, and now I'm out of shape down here. Do you notice I got a little sideways there? Okay. On the run up to the final corner, some people are going to find themselves going sideways, and I'm going to show you now why that happens while I try and do the rest of the lap correctly. Careful of the curbs. Okay, so if you end up sideways down here and you don't know why, this is why. Did you see what it was? Hopefully you did. Specifically in this car, but in quite a few others, if you are turning and then apply the brakes, it unbalances the car and it slides. So bear it in mind, on this particular track, into that final corner, you can just do a lift, go round the corner, then brake. There's no point braking while you're turning. Now, for me, this is a track where really once drivers have done, what, 10 laps around this track, you shouldn't be having a problem. You should not be going off anywhere on this track. If you are going off, it is because you are braking too late or just going way too fast. Dropped it to second gear there, didn't really need it. I mean, these corners are so simple that once you get used to doing it like this and you realise how quick it can be, you won't want to drive it any other way. It's all about minimalist adjustments. I might use second gear for the final corner just so I can get on the power a little bit sooner. Can use third on the way in. I might have to drop it to second. Okay, so go through it again, brake before the 100, turn in at the end of the curve, but it's not an aggressive turn in. Get over to the right, brake at the 50. Get on that apex curb, let it run wide, straighten the wheel. Stay right, turn in at the red paint on the barrier if you've not got a turn in point yet. Lift between the curbs. Wait until you're straight, then brake. Anyway, I feel like I could do with a bit of rear wing taking off this, but okay, so what I'm going to do in a minute is I'm going to chuck on a fresh set of tyres and drive off the racing line to show you what you're going to need to do just to stay on the road. Okay, Well, lap 4 was a 51.9, lap 12 was a 51.8. Tyre wear's not really an issue around here. I may sound like I'm being a bit derogatory by saying that this is a very, very easy track. It is. This track is only difficult if you drive it wrong. And if you drive it wrong, you might hate it. So hopefully some of those points, the braking points, the turn-in points that I've mentioned will make a big difference. And the final corner, it's not what you do at the final corner, it's what you do at the corner before that dictates what happens at the final corner. Doing a lift between the curbs and not getting on the power again until the exit of the final corner is such a game changer. So yeah, I must admit, in the race, when we race here next week, I'm going to be extremely disappointed if I see big crashes in the final corner there. And if I do it, then it never happened. It weren't my fault. Right, okay. I'm going to pop some fresh tyres on because I am going to drive off the racing line now. And one of the reasons for me showing this is that, to be honest, you should only ever be off the racing line if you are next to a car, and you shouldn't be attempting an overtake really unless you are alongside a car into a braking zone. If you're behind them, then you shouldn't really be going for the overtake. You may see it as they've left the door wide open, which is what people may see once they see me going around turn 1, but the door isn't being left wide open if you're too far behind to take the corner at maximum speed. So I'm going to drive around off the racing line to show what you're going to need to do just to stay on the road and out of trouble. This isn't necessarily how to overtake, but if you are in an overtaking situation, then this is what you're going to end up having to do. Okay, so if you find yourself alongside someone on the run down towards turn 1, obviously they're going to have the outside, still need to brake before the 100, but you're going to have to stay on the brakes longer and definitely second gear, but watch out for the exit of the corner. Down here, people are going to think that this is an overtaking opportunity. It really isn't. I tell you now, it really, really isn't. Because you're going to have to go so slow to get round there and leave space that you're just going to lose time. And not only that, you're on the wrong side of the track for these corners now. And if you're going to try going up the inside here, good luck. Now, I didn't do the lift off between the final left and right, so if you are pushing it around there, you're not going to make the corner. Okay, so I'm going to go again. So down into turn 1, you are going to need to brake before the 100 meters and stay on those brakes a lot longer. Got to give a car that would be technically next to us space. We can still brake at the 50 for this corner, but got to leave room on the exit, and I'm so much slower. I can see it, I can feel it. Got to leave them room, got to leave them room. If they were next to me, lift, brake in the straight line. Look, this is all controlled. So if I was side by side with somebody there, I give myself every opportunity of not hitting the other car. But, as I said, this is only if you are already alongside. Now, I mentioned in the DGT chat that I was going to try and show a new feature, and I'm going to go and do that in a second. And hopefully it will visually show the difference of What happens when you think someone's left a door open for you, but they haven't? Okay. Now, these laps that I've done, what lap times am I doing here? Okay, 53s and 54s, right? I was doing 51s on the racing line. That's how much time I've lost being off the racing line. So when people think, oh, they've left the door open, I can go for it, yeah. Well, are you sure? Because the way that I'm driving it at the moment is 3 seconds faster. Okay, you might be behind me at the moment, but it doesn't mean you're going to be behind me on the exit of the corner. So anyway, hopefully I'm going to be able to go and show something here. So I'm going to try that. Now, this is going to be my first time of trying it, to be honest. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into time trial, right? Which, okay, it is going to give me irrelevant tyre wear and grip levels, but that's not what I'm looking to show here, okay? What I'm looking to show is a visual effect of time loss, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head around the Sardegna circuit, right, in this car, and hopefully set a lap time, a proper lap time. Then I'm going to follow my Ghost, okay, and I'm going to show what happens when I chuck it up the inside into corners, okay, effectively going for the gap that has been left open. Now I probably am going to have to turn Ghosts on, because I think I turned Ghosts off on this, I'm not sure. There we go, okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is a couple of laps to try and get a decent lap time in, driving properly. Now, as I said, it's going to have different grip level, so don't necessarily focus on where I'm braking or anything like that. Although if I'm doing it properly, you can. I think that could be about a 50. 49. Oh, 51.2. Okay, 51.2, decent lap time. Right. Okay, hopefully it's going to put my Ghost on there now. Okay, so my Ghost now is obviously going to drive how I have just done that lap. So I'm effectively going to try and follow it down towards turn 1. Okay, so I'm following myself down to turn 1. Oh, he's left the door open. Hang on, come back! Come back! Okay, he didn't leave the door open, did he? Alright. Well, in one corner, that's shown what I wanted to show. But I'm going to keep going for the moment, because I've got to see if I can catch him. Got to see if I can catch him, but the harder I push, the more damage I'm going to do. I could catch him loads here if I don't slow down. Oh shit, I've just wiped him out. So yeah, I've closed that gap up massively, but I've just wiped him out, or if I have managed to miss him, I'm now even further away than I was before the exit in turn 1. Right, come on, I'm fucking having you this time, mate. I'm closer. Oh, you cunt. Oh, okay. I got a little bit out of shape, but he's still fucking pulling away from me. Now, okay, yes. Obviously, if I'd position my car there, he wouldn't be able to drive through me. But I wasn't in the position to overtake. I'll close the gap up a bit, but I'm a bit out of shape, bit off balance, and he's opened up the gap a bit more. So the harder I'm pushing into corners, the more I'm losing on the exits of the corners. Okay, this time might have him. Obviously, he's on the racing line. Now, that time I was ever so close. Now, if I was the car in front on that one, I probably would have been looking to defend the corner. Took it up the inside. No, I can't do that. Oh, shit. I'm out of shape a bit. But now, look, it's just pulling away. I'm pulling away. I'm pulling away. All the way down the hill. Now, look how much I've closed that gap by taking the corner properly. Okay, what I'm going to try and do now is just show the last corner. Now, admittedly, even if I was this close to the back of someone here, I'm not going for this overtake, because the fastest way is like this. That's the fastest line. There's no point attempting to overtake into that left-hander. Okay, I'm too far back to attempt the overtake, so I'm going to have to try on the next lap. Now, that's not to say that if I wasn't already side by side towards turn 4 that I'd back out of it. I wouldn't. If I'm already side by side, just like here, if I'm side by side at this point, of course I'm going to go for the overtake. If I'm side by side anywhere from here, say, if I am side by side now, yes, I'm going to go for the overtake. But if I'm in this position, I'm not. I'm too far back. Okay, into the final corner then. Already I'm too far back to go for the overtake. It's not on. He's going to pull away from me. I had a look, but I tightened the corner for myself, and now I'm losing time. So this is what your drivers need to think when they're behind a car. It's not, have they left the door open? It's, am I in the right place to attempt the overtake? And the answer on a very simple basis is, if you are not alongside before the braking point, you are not in position to overtake. So you see now, I'm close enough to have a look. We are now both slow. Now, obviously he's going to pull away a little bit. Now, I wasn't up alongside, right? And I haven't attempted the, I haven't successfully made the overtake there. Now, you could say, oh yeah, well, the other car just drove through you. Well, yes, but if you were on the outside there, you'd have done, that driver would have done a switch back on me and driven straight past me down towards this corner. So it'd have been potentially pointless. Whereas if I was the car following, right, if I made the movement I just did then there's a good chance that the car in front is actually going to attempt to defend the corner. If they defend the corner, then I can take the wider line, go for the switchback, and have a better run down towards turn 1. But hopefully, excuse me, those few laps there will have been able to visually show how much time is lost by going for a gap that you think has been left open, or going for an overtake that you think is on, when in actual fact it isn't, because the amount of time you lose is massive. And quite often it's not just time you lose yourself, you're losing the person that was ahead of you them time, because those overtakes that I tried there, the other guy had every right pretty much to go for the corner, and I'm too far back to legitimately have a right to the corner. So if they've turned in thinking, well, if they've had a look in their mirror and gone, okay, it's too far back, I can focus on the corner, turned in, holy shit, there's a car next to me, what the fuck? Now there's contact and both cars have lost time. The guy who was attempting the overtake goes, oh, well, you left me the space. No, I didn't. You've come from way too far back, you've braked late, you've not made the corner. So there is a fine line between a good overtake and really not a good overtake. Simple rule: side by side before the braking point. That's your flag for battle, right? If you're not side by side, it ain't on, really. Now that I've said that, you'll probably see me do a load of overtakes from quite far back. But there are different levels of experience and stuff like that. But yeah, what I would love to see with a few of the drivers in the DGT League is getting these braking points right. Because I know that in some of the races where I have mentioned and shown braking points and stuff like that, people have seen that actually they can brake a little later and still make the corner. Yes, you can, but slow. You're fast on the way in and shit slow on the way out. Whereas the points that I'm telling people to brake at allows you to be a touch slower on the way in than what you're doing, but considerably faster on the way out. And not only that, consistency becomes available. So every lap can be within 2 to 3 tenths of each other, instead of having one okay lap and then a slow one and then maybe a fast one. Consistency comes from braking points, turn-in points, certain speeds, certain throttle usages. Consistency, repetition. Okay, it might all sound a bit boring, but that's where it comes from. It's, yeah, this, to be fair, is probably one of the best tracks on this game at the moment for simplicity of learning, sticking to a braking point, sticking to a turn-in point, maximising the width of the road. Because that's what you need to do in racing, maximise the width of the road. Which is why, for example, at turn 4, I straddle that curb with 2 wheels on the grass. I want to be there because it allows me to go through the corner faster. But it comes with the risk. If I have steering angle on, I'm going to crash. If I get it wrong, I'm going to crash. But if I get it right, I know I'm absolutely fine. So that's why it's crucial that the braking point is correct, the turning point is correct, the speed, the accelerator inputs are correct on the way into the corner, so that on the way out of the corner, it's not a battle. Okay, right, I think that's this stream done, bollocking over everybody, but hopefully, yeah, check this. I mean, if you watch this video and you do find it useful, tell the other people, tell people to watch it. And even, I mean, I would never recommend practicing in time trial, but if you don't necessarily believe what I've just shown in time trial, try it yourself. Race against yourself in time trial and see how you gain time and lose time. Now bear in mind, if you're driving a little wrong to begin with, you might drive still wrong and gain time, but you should still be able to see the benefits of getting things slightly more correct. But anyway, right, so that's this live stream over. But that doesn't mean I'm done for today, because for some reason I'm having one of those days where I keep nodding off unless I'm doing something. So I'm going to end this stream, and then I'm going to be on another one in a minute. I don't know what I'm doing yet on it, but I'm gonna come back. So enjoy, and I'll be back again soon.